This is a bigger movie that tells a tale of Robert McCall's past and coming to peace with who he was.
But it still feels very intimate like the first one because it's really about the characters and about the relationship of the characters and about the relationship of the people.
Go home, huh? That's what Vivian would have wanted.
This film is about what happens to people that he's allowed in his life, and I think maybe a more personal journey.
What we decided to do in the sequel is to take a man who has heartbroken and see what happens if you break it a little bit more.
And it's putting his life in peril in a way that Equalizer 1 didn't.
So it's heightened and bigger. It's more dangerous.
The success of the first film was a surprise, but not a surprise. I wasn't surprised that people would show up to see Denzel. You know, people love Denzel Washington. But I was surprised of how passionate people were about justice.
What the fuck do you want, huh?
Those people you took the money from, maybe you should give it back.
Why would we do that?
Well, I think the incredible appeal of the first Equalizer movie is the ultimate badass actor playing the ultimate badass role.
He is good at helping people. He's good at equalizing wrongs.
And I think what makes McCall a different type of hero is that when you see him save a Chloe Moritz character or a Miles, those are situations that anybody can easily be in. So I think it makes people feel like, although this is a movie, I can also learn a lesson and take something from watching this.
Who the fuck is this nigga?
I'm your father. Your mama just didn't tell you. Let's go, Miles.
It's Robin Hood, someone who comes in to help those that can't do for themselves and doesn't look to do it for any glory. He just wants to rectify the iniquity.
And then we moved it very slow. The mystery of McCall, we didn't give a lot away with the wife and the ring.
So we teased them in Equalizer 1, but they needed and wanted to find out a little bit more about Robert McCall's background.
And I'd always thought and planned that we would peel out some of that information in the next one. So it was a natural progression for Robert McCall. I mean, he's found his purpose in the first movie. He discovered it in the first movie, and now he can apply it.
Because the audience liked this character so much and the portrayal of Robert McCall, it was easier for Denzel to put the shoes back on.
This is not something I've done before. You know, I've been in this business 40 years. I've never done anything a second time. I was really excited about the script and the character, the storytelling.
I like to think it's because of me, you know, but I think he enjoyed Robert McCall. I think he enjoyed Richard's writing, and it was a character that he can see evolving into other things. He was very similar to Denzel as a person. Denzel gives a lot. And so I think Robert McCall has a lot of Denzel in him. And we had fun doing it.
In the first movie, the script was pretty much finished, and Denzel really loved it and signed on for it, and we worked for a month trimming. On this one, I met with him countless times, going through different versions of the script, what we like, what we didn't like. So I was able to sort of begin a long dialogue that helped shape exactly the character and tone and spirit of what he wanted to portray.
In the beginning of Equalizer 2, we find McCall driving a Lyft. And the reason he's a Lyft driver is because he's trying to connect with people.
Where you headed?
Iraq.
I'll be there to pick you up when you get back.
Thank you.
While visiting my son in college, I met a special ops guy driving a Lyft car. And I thought, what better job to have that we have no boss other than yourself, and you can work whenever you want. So this really fits who Robert McCall is.
I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was different. I thought it was clever and smart on Richard's part to do something like that. Again, he's sort of hiding in plain sight, which is why I wore the hat cocked that way so I couldn't be seen in the mirror. But he's still doing what he's done before, which is helping other people.
people. We have a beautiful sequence in the movie where we have passenger after passenger after passenger, all different flavors and tones to them that sort of make you feel he's with all of us. And that's the one thing about a Lyft driver, is that he travels in many, many different areas. And he doesn't decide who he picks up, he just takes everybody.
And that's one of his bigger fights for the underdog. And he takes care of some seedy, I can't say the word douchebags, can I? He takes care of some seedy douchebags.
What was important to Denzel in the first one, in terms of how the action was staged, was I want to do it myself. So if it's something I can't do, I don't want someone faking it for me. So on the first one, he probably did about 2 or 3 weeks worth of stunt and fight training. On this one, he's doubled that.
What we did is we kind of just set up a nice little scenario for him, walking through the guys. We put it on film for him and sent it to him. Most of the stuff he liked, but he also, what's awesome about him is that he puts in his 2 cents.
He's already here. I'm about to do this, but he's already here, and he's dropping right here. That starts months in advance, and it's a process. In the case of the scenes we're shooting now, we actually ended up going back to some of the things we were going to originally do, based on the reality of the circumstances in the scene.
This particular scene here, McCall character worked on it for about 6 weeks back in LA. So Denzel was pretty familiar with it between Antoine's input and Denzel's input. And hopefully we've created a pretty nice fight.
And what Antoine has done is he's brought to life, through McCall vision, a sixth sense, if you will, that McCall possesses, which is just being able to see something a split second before the normal person would.
I have some friends that, in the military, that live a certain life. For them, it's a comfort zone. If you're fighting for your life, anything goes.
Again, he's using the things in the environment, the things in the room.
There's multiple bone breaks, dislocations.
We're utilizing my boxing skills more than we did in the first one.
Robert McCall speeds very fast. Our actor, he's been boxing for most of his adult life, so we add some of that in there for him. Hopefully it's a little different look for the audience. And I think everyone's gonna like it.
You know, it's funny, the first Equalizer has the big ending sequence in the Home Mart and the Russian room. But action-wise in this movie, there's 3 times as much. You've got a great action sequence in a car, you've got this is more action than you will see in the entire Equalizer 1, I believe.
In the first movie, we had to set up everything, and we intentionally made it a slow burn. This, we purposely opened the movie with this big action set piece.
The thing I struggle with most was the opening. How do you tell this in which the audience goes, well, when is he gonna do it? So the train sequence became this big feather in my cap because I felt, I got him. They have no idea this is happening until in the middle of it.
This landscape is foreign, the train itself does not look like Amtrak, and he looks different. He looks radically different.
We get to have a lot of fun with that in terms of trying to make it look like we're not in America and just giving it some local flavor that's true to the culture. Denzel came up with the idea of dressing in full Muslim attire and kind of surprise us. Not something we're expecting, especially coming off of the first one where we saw him working at Home Depot and he was kind of everyman. It'll be a huge departure, and that's sort of the surprise element.
So it's this amazing set piece. You dive right into it, and he equalizes the situation on this train car, and you walk onto a set that you've built and that you've created. It's incredible. I mean, the detail, all of it, the furniture, the ceiling, and that the train moves.
Antoine and I actually sat down. We kind of looked at stuff that we thought we wanted to try to recreate. At that point, we looked at what types of equipment.
So essentially what we did is we looked at the suspension of a train car. There's a lot of energy and a lot of equipment that goes into this to create very subtle movements. There's 16 of these individual air springs that basically raise the set up and create a soft cushion so that the whole set itself floats. And then what we do is through air pressure, we have some cylinders over there that basically rock the set back and forth.
So we're able to create a real action sequence with a real set and a real character all at the same time.
And we were making it feel honest and real and vicious.
Action!
And the objects on the train that he uses are very different from the objects in the co-op.
Robert McCall used some fun things, like the stem of his glasses.
We've broken part of the stem off, and that's going to be affixed to the face, and then this piece will act as the support or the anchor to this so that Antoine can get the aftermath that he's looking for.
He uses whatever. You know, the chair, my shoe, the socks. He uses whatever.
So we have different terminologies for things. This is the real one, and so this is the hero. So we have 3 heroes. On a breakaway, we probably had 10. We have a saying, one is none. That's the bottom line. There's nothing we would have one of.
This is a teapot handle injury, and we kind of had to MacGyver it. So we've cut out the middle section, and these will be affixed to the actor's neck.
So it was fun to crack those things and to play with the audience's expectations and bring those up a few notches and be a little smarter.
So here we go. Let's go. Turn.
When our writer, Richard Wank, was creating Equalizer 2, one of the things he kept talking about was, because we're going to find out so much about Denzel's character, we needed to make sure that his long-term goal was to get home. Where was the place that he and his deceased wife, what was their dream house? And their dream place was this place called Brant Rock.
And what's different about it in this film than from the first film, it's very personal. And that's what I was really excited about from McCall's side and his backstory.
Well, when I first read the script and I read Hurricane, I thought, really? How am I gonna pull that one off, you know?
It's very interesting because when you're alone in your office and writing these things, it makes all the sense in the world. And the idea of our hero going home, and how do you do that without collateral damage? Well, a hurricane and an evacuation, and that's really where it was born from.
And it's challenging, right? Because I like things to be as close to real as I can get them. So we shot a lot of it in camera because you don't know really if visual effects will be able to catch all the little nuances that you want to capture.
And we searched for the perfect town. So we came down here and found Marshfield. We're calling it Brant Rock. So this became our place. And then our special effects coordinator, Jeremy Hayes, came to the table with how to do it. It took him months of preparation to try and figure out how to get the wind and the waves and, you know, the mist and the fog and all of that together. So he was instrumental.
The first thing that we did was we looked at the type of hurricane that would hit the New England area, and so we looked at a lot of footage from Hurricane Sandy, which actually took place in this town. And one of the key things that we saw was the waves crashing over the break wall. And Antoine said, you know, can we recreate stuff like that and make those waves a key part of the overall story? And so we have a total of 24 individual cannons that piece together so we can aim them in different directions to create the look that he's going for.
So on days where we're closer to the ocean, a couple of those fight scenes, the guy really did get knocked over by the water. The wave just came over, knocks the guy down. And then we had debris and everything flying everywhere. So we had huge jet fans that had to be moved constantly.
We have put together an array of different sizes of fans. This one in particular is the biggest fan that we have. It's a ventilation fan that is used to clear tunnels. And it's been modified so that we can move it around and pan and tilt turret. And about 10 feet in front of it, it clocks about 80 miles per hour.
Literally, you can stand in front of them and lean this way or lean that way, and they'll hold you up. So if you have dialogue with that going, you know that dialogue is not going to be usable. But you're trying to get a performance but you still got to get the fans blowing.
And it was probably good for my acting because I certainly wasn't thinking anything outside of not being blown onto my ass by the fan and the rain machine.
We have a great greens department that basically their job is to provide us the leaves and branches and stuff that we're sending through. Right now it's nice because it's fall, so at least there's a good supply of it. I would say at each fan, and we have 12 wind machines total, 12 positions over the scale of the town, we're going through at least 2 or 3 55-gallon bags of leaves a take.
And when it got cold on the ocean, it got very cold. And I had actors that were getting very wet. And when you're making a hurricane, you can't use the sun.
The weather is our biggest challenge because when this doesn't happen, it then becomes sunny skies, shadows, and it's much harder for visual effects because then they have to take over the entire environment. Whereas this is perfect. You're not casting any shadows. You have a gray pallor to your day. It's just like, this is perfect. And then he just adds a little bit of stuff.
And the visual effects part of it, obviously, you got to get that right. You got to make it real.
It's good to know that they're doing digital effects. It doesn't feel like they need them. They're making it look really real, which is incredible because as an actor, that's exactly what you want. So I'm wondering how much money they'll have to spend on post effects because it looks pretty damn real to me right now.
Antoine, I mean, he's the king of real. He wants us to be as genuine as possible. We have experts here from FBI, from all these things for the action stuff. We also have weather experts we've talked to about hurricanes, and we have tons of footage from actually the townspeople of Brand Rock that record the hurricanes that hit here and the tropical storms that hit. Well, the challenge for us is we have to create a very destructive, very big, very loud hurricane that hopefully will shake your seats in the theater. And that challenge comes from every single thing you see, from power lines to trees to the sand on the ground has to move in the wind. Shingles ripping off of rooftops, all of these things that are going to really add to the reality of it and are going to be virtually all digital. The fun thing about this challenge and this part of the story is, in this case, the hurricane isn't just a hurricane. It's an enemy for McCall, but it's also an ally.
He uses the sound of the storm to his advantage.
So it's truly a chess game in the third act.
And we haven't seen McCall go up against people that are trained in equal measure.
But just because you do the same thing doesn't mean you have the same skill set. You may have been trained the same way. All boxers are trained. That doesn't mean they're all world champions.
So Robert McCall, he's able to set traps.
My favorite weapon had to have been the harpoon gun. The great thing about this weapon, that's the one from Jaws. Once I found out what it was and where it came from, I had it rushed out here so I could show it to Antoine early in prep. And besides knowing how and where this gets lodged, again, was a fantastic kill. So this had to be my favorite.
He uses flour. It actually is a fact that if you use a flashbang on top of flour, it will ignite. That's a fact.
And action!
We really have a good team of stunt coordinators and trainers, and we have a really good working relationship.
I think that's important because in that environment with an explosion, it's just very dangerous. So we had to make sure it was safe.
It's been key to all of this. This is a very physical, very tough, enduring kind of project, and everybody focuses on what the equipment is and what the materials we're using, but I think the key to success here is there's a lot of people here that have been working really hard. Everybody wants to create something that they can be proud of, and if it really wasn't for their attitude, considering that we've been working in super cold weather, so I have to say that one of the biggest keys to our success here is people just working really hard and trying to push this storm forward.
No. So everybody's looking at what?
Everybody looking at gun.
Right.
When you find a movie star who's such a great actor and a director who is really specific and you can merge them with a great story, it's magic.
So if I step this way, what did I just do?
Me.
Look at the work they've done together between Training Day and then coming back and then doing Equalizer 1, Magnificent 7. They have a shorthand and a relationship that works on a lot of different levels.
Denzel has to be a real person in this kind of crazy action movie, And Antoine has figured out how to bring this scope to this movie, and then he's learned how to quiet it down for Denzel. So it's almost like an accordion. He knows when to bring it together, he knows when to pull it apart.
This has to happen, we gotta cover that. Yep. You'll never see that from back.
Right, he's blocked.
Right? So the beat, you want to be already going down on it.
Antoine Fuqua and I have had really good success together, and he really knows how to put these kind of film together, and we've had that trust. It's a good fit for us and for me.
Antoine is as cool as his movies, because something that you think is your own secret is something he's paying attention to on the monitor, and that's sort of an amazing thing, especially when he asks you to bring it even further into the light, and I love that.
And then this beautiful thing that happens as we work, where he observes what we are doing, and he goes, oh, that's where my scene is, and he hones in on it and builds the scene around what's happening in the room that he's shooting in. So I would have to say that the invite into Equalizer 2 was delightful to get, because the first one had been so wonderful, and really the most wonderful things about it are the two men at the lead of it, in Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington.
You think someone like him would, relax a little bit. He's Denzel Washington, but he doesn't behave like that. And Denzel will be the first person to say to you, I'm not a movie star, I'm an actor, which is why he goes to Broadway and do a 4-hour play. And when you watch him, you realize he's a gift, man. He's a gift. And he only cares about the work.
It's been crazy to learn from this man, and although I'll be in scene with him, it's almost like he's teaching me. It could be a little intimidating, but between the three of us, Denzel, Antoine, and I, we all respect each other's work. So it's kind of like a dance almost, When we're working, we're all just like going off of one another, It's like a flow.
I think people see the real human quality of Robert McCall. Everything is based in reality, everything is grounded, and he has a heart. Denzel insisted, I'm a human being. I am just about injustice, and I'm about righting the wrongs of people that can't.
Myself and Denzel talked a lot about, let's just make the best movie we can make. We wanted to stay true to who the character was, keep him grounded, not try and turn it into a superhero. And it was always our intention to watch him evolve.
He's here to help. He's helping the innocent. He's helping those that can't help themselves with where we are in the world and in this country. That's what was really interesting to me about this story.
If there was a 3, we discussed it would be international, and you would start to see more of what he is, but yet remains true to what we created.
The first movie, he found his purpose. In the second movie, he found his peace. In the third movie, he will be looking for his place. And something we all really wish that he does.